I think you got the notification. We are live. I think you got the notification. We are live. I think you got the notification. We are live. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's Socratic Dialogue discussion. SD or Socratic Dialogue is nothing but conversation between teams wherein every participant will be questioning and engaging in critical thinking around a topic, and today's topic is building your MVP. Before we get into the pictures of our two wonderful teams, can we have quick introduction of everyone, starting from feed forward, sorry.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm Samida. I'm a psychologist leader at Deep Thought, and I'm currently trying to get people to be more motivated and enjoy their learning processes. So feedback is one part of that, which is also something we'll be talking about in our pitch.
Hi everyone. I'm Gaurav Dahal. I'm currently involved as data scientist in Deep Thought. Thank you.
Yeah, hi guys. I'm Purnima and I am currently working as a software developer at Deep Thought.
So, okay, coming to our team. Hi everyone. I'm Lisa from Winning Culture Lab, and I'm working as a data scientist in Deep Thought.
Hello everyone, I'm Shrija Thakurta and I'm working as a content writer plus growth hacker at a client company of TikTok.
Hi everyone, I'm Farzin Kamal and I'm a software developer at Deep Thought.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone. Anjali this side. I am a behavioral data analyst in Deep Thought. And I'll be the moderator for today's discussion. So quickly, who would like to give the first pitch?
Team feed forward can take the initiative, I guess.
Great.
I'll just share my screen. Okay, is this visible?
Yes.
All right. Hi, everybody. We are Team Feed Forward. We're here to solve a pretty big problem that organizations face, which is giving personalized feedback to employees, right? So a major thing that happens with most organizations, whether it is a startup or a very mature organization, people get feedback from managers or their executives based on their performance in a project or a specific task, but not really feedback about their overall role in the organization. So we have this solution for this assumption that if you're giving feedback regarding your role in the organization instead of just a task, then you'll grow more as a person and as somebody who can contribute to the organization. So to solve this problem of giving more personalized and role-oriented feedback, we have brought in a SaaS product that helps track the data within the organization and give your employees a more personalized sort of feedback. Purnima can talk a little bit more about the MVP.
Yeah, thank you, Samita. So for the MVP, we have chosen a few core features in our product, right? One of which is a good UI. We want our UI of the product to be very good, right? So that people can come in and they can use the product, the experience of using the product is good. Second one is tracking performance. So since it's a feedback SaaS product, right, we will be tracking the performance of all the employees. And third is holistic feedback. By holistic feedback, what we mean is whatever feedback the managers will be giving the employees, right, it will not just be around those certain tasks or projects. It will be like a whole feedback on their role and how they can contribute to the organization. Apart from that, all the data that we are that people are giving each other, right, for those feedbacks, all that data will be stored in our database. And lastly, we have this integrating systems feature where basically if an organization has some past data of feedback, right, they can integrate that into our system. For example, let's say if there is a performance review that happened on Google Sheet, that can be uploaded to our product, and then the data can be extracted. So yeah, that is about the core features. And now Gaurav can go ahead with the marketing strategy.
Yes, like for the process involving the early adopters, we'll be first identifying the target audience. And based on that, we'll be identifying early adopters who will be willing to try our product. And we'll be gathering feedbacks from them. And based on their feedback, we'll be refining our products accordingly. So for this product, we'll be using both B2B, we'll be using B2B model, and our main focus would be on startup community. So we'll be using those managers and executives from this startup. So regarding the marketing strategy, we'll be going through referral marketing based on our own networks, and like family, friends, social media sites like LinkedIn, Facebook, and we'll also be going through digital marketing processes like email marketing and other social media advertisement. Beside this too, we'll also be going through this content marketing by writing blogs and articles in web portals.
So using all these strategies, we will be trying to solve the problem of personalizing feedback and also getting our MVP to launch out into the world. Once through the feedback, our own system of feedback is refined, we can officially put it in the market as a product so that people all around the world can solve the problem that organizations face, which is giving feedback that helps your employees grow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, team Feed Forward. So any questions?
I have a question right away. So you mentioned that your main focus will be startups, right? Can you elaborate why exactly startups? Why not corporates, for example? Because corporates have a lot of people, and because they have a lot of people, it's harder to track. Wouldn't be it more logical to go for corporate? So yeah, that's my question. Why startups?
Can I take that question?
Right. Why you're going for the startups?
Right. So just to clarify, right, the major purpose of an MVP is if you have this assumption or this sort of a hypothesis for a solution, you're trying to test it out. So the reason we're trying to test it out on startups is because a mature organization or a proper corporate organization may already have feedback in place, right? But for startups, it's a lot more disoriented or can be disorganized, plus there are people coming in and going out. So their feedback systems are not that much in place. So because I think startups can sort of profit from a direct system like this more, that's why we want to introduce it to startups. Also in more mature corporate organizations, a lot of them already have tracking systems for feedback. It's not just it doesn't give personalized feedback, but it still sort of helps. They have the money to buy these products that can help them track the systems and track the information of their employees. So we wanted to introduce it in places where it might be utilized better, hence startups.
It makes sense. Makes sense.
Okay. Any other questions, Lisa?
Not for now. Give me a few more minutes.
Sure.
I have a question.
Yes.
You mentioned that you have good UI. Can you elaborate on that and how it helps?
Yeah, I can take that question. I would say, right, having that good UI will create a good user experience for the people who are going to use our product, right? And that can be a very beneficial point for our MVP because people are giving those feedbacks and everything. But let's say everything is not in place, right? You can't see those insights from the feedback. If you can't see those insights in a proper manner, right? It doesn't make sense for the feedback to be there, right? If you're not getting anything out of it. So I would say that that helps there.
But providing good UI would increase your costing. So how would you manage the cost effectiveness part of it?
Sorry, could you repeat the question, please?
Okay, Shrija was asking the cost effective part, how will that be managed if you're focusing on a good UI? Is that right, Shrija?
So initially for MVP, we're coming up with this template kind of thing. Okay, there won't be anything like there will be standard template for everyone for MVP process, and based on the requirement, we'll keep on making the changes further. It's like so, and based on the requirement, the prices will also be charged accordingly, right? So that's how we're taking this model financially.
But if you're having like, do you mean that you have like a very good template originally and then you will change it? Because like still the question is still the same. To make a very good template, you still have to spend money on it. So cost of question that I don't feel like it really answers Srija's question.
Yeah, that's what I answered. Like first we have standard process, standard template, right? So we are a SaaS company. We need to have a team, right, to come up with standard template. So that's what we're doing initially, and then we're for MVP, we're coming up with the standard. We're showing it to the managers, right, and based on the requirement, because we're focusing on startups, right? They also don't have money, so based on the requirement, like and the feedbacks, we're making those changes accordingly and charging them according to the requirement. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, just adding to Gaurav's point, right? The idea behind having a standard template is it is going to be cost effective because it's not like very formalized, or it's not a proper thing where you where you have used a lot of resources yet. It's just there to solve the problem. So we're not focusing that much on making it to like manage a lot of data sets or make it for a lot of variety of organizations. Right now, it's just for that one startup to try out so that we can figure out what the problems are and work on them.
Okay, so
Okay,
it's
I have
not
a follow-up.
Okay, go ahead with
Yes,
follow-up.
you can go.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, so Gaurav mentioned that as you better your product through user feedback, you will have multiple other templates. So Gaurav, can you elaborate on that since it's not currently answering the cost effectiveness part of the question that I asked?
So yeah, like we mentioned before, this is the MVP, right? So this is first we have a template, standard template for everyone, right? That's what we're going to show with all those things, cost-effective models and designs. That would be our first initial process. And after that, according to their requirement, each managers, they may have like different requirement, right? Somebody wants to see how the happiness scorecard, maybe somebody wants to see the performance, like focus on performance. So based on that, we'll make changes accordingly. We'll be using the process accordingly, and based on that, then we'll be able to forecast the prices, right, based on the requirement.
Not a question, but just to sum up to make sure that I understood you correctly. So basically, at first you have some kind of not a bit of a raw template that just kind of shows all the feature that you can provide. It's not focusing on the UI exactly, but it's more on the product itself. And then as a feature, so like good UI is not a built-in feature, so to say, but it's something that you can provide more like this. Do I understand kind of correctly?
I wouldn't say good UI is not built into the product.
I mean personalized UI.
Not personalized, yeah, like common standard UI, not personalized, standard.
I mean, like updating the UI is a built-in feature. Let's say like this. Updating a UI is a feature that you provide, but originally you have just a kind of like that focuses more on showcasing all the that you have.
Yeah.
Just getting the question cleared off here. So as Team Feedforward has mentioned that they will be using the standard template for all the customers, but eventually if there is a customized requirement, how will that be managed? Because then that will also involve some cost aspects. So I think that is like one of the question what Team Rigor is trying to get the answer to.
Yeah, kind of.
Would like to.
Okay. Yes, like I told before, like whenever so this would be the standard template, right? So for more personalized template, it depends on what is the requirement of the manager himself, right? So based on that, we have to allocate resources accordingly. right? So based on that, so we'll be forecasting the price based on the requirement, and then we'll be charging accordingly. So it's a personalized thing. So we cannot say like it would cost this much right now, right? So it's a personalized thing. So it would be based on
So
the
you're
requirement.
proposing, customized UI.
Yes.
So it's like if you're willing to pay more, you can go with the customized. If you don't want, we have a standard template. It's like this. Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. Shrija,
Wait. Let
Yes,
me clarify a little bit. So when we say customized, we mean personalized feedback for the employees, right? That's our objective. So it would be there in the MVP as well. But also when we say standard template, what do we exactly mean by that? We mean like there is this kind of a structure, right, that helps us get to that personalized feedback. And that is going to be a cost-effective structure, because right now we're only using the data which is already in the organization. And we're going to, sort of use frameworks there. What kind of framework can help the employees get more personalized feedback? So it's not like some specific product or some specific, something that you have to buy. It's not that tangible. It's a structure that we're trying to implement, and there can still be feedback coming for that structure. So that's why the template will be pretty cost effective, because it's a lot of hypotheses that we're trying to validate.
Okay, makes sense, I think. No follow-ups from my side. Shrija, Fardin, any follow-ups?
Okay.
Okay,
I have a question.
I also have a question. But
okay, you can go ahead, Lisa, please.
Yeah, it's about marketing. It's not already about like features. It's about marketing. You mentioned that one of your marketing strategies is email, right? I just want to ask why you chose it, because from my opinion, emails are not really effective nowadays. Because, for example, when I go to my mailbox, I just ignore most of everything. I come to my email only when I need to confirm something from site that I registered for. So why did you went for email marketing? That makes sense. Is it on topic?
I'll maybe Gaurav could mention the technicalities, but I'll just give that basic overview. It's an organization, right? There a lot of the times when we're talking about formal organizations, their main channel of communication tends to be email, especially when they're dealing with the administration. So whatever feedback is to be given, whatever when there's a hiring or firing happening, that is done through an email. So that's like a formal and official channel, plus it's free. So that's one of the reasons. Cost effective.
Pretty great answers. No follow-up from my side.
Okay, I have a follow-up on Lisa's question. She asked about email. I would ask about web portals. Same question, just about web portals.
Like, okay, like we are also creating contents and putting like articles and blog posts on our web portals, right? What that will do is like that will create kind of image, right?
How are you going to bring traffic to your web portal?
Sorry?
How are you bringing your customers to the web portal? Why would they see?
No, we're just putting it there and we're just tagging everything, right? Like we can tag everything. We can use all those social SNS sites, right? We can just share it there in the groups, and this is how we can use it, right? It's just kind of creating our image, and we'll like, and the content we'll be creating as like we'll create some kind of call to actions, right? We'll be designing our, like, that is the content creation part. We'll be doing those things, but we'll be using that as our marketing channel as well, that way.
Okay, hope that clears the question. Thank you, Lisa and Shrija. Any questions? Fardin, would you like to ask any questions?
Yeah, I had a question about the early adopters. So who were your early adopters? Can you repeat?
The early
startups.
Yeah.
Okay. So how will you convince them to use your product? So in a startup, every penny is, I mean, if you spend every penny, like it's valuable, right? So how will you convince any of them to use your product?
Okay.
Sorry, Samita, to cut you off here. I guess my question was also connected similar to that. So you mentioned that you will be doing marketing strategy, but how are you going to convey the vision? What is going to be the main message that you will be sharing while putting all these messages or promotional things? What will be the motto, or how are you going to stand out in when it comes to other performance tracking products?
Okay. Not sure that the brand positioning part is entirely related to MVP here. So I'll try to focus more on the communicating aspect, right? So we're going with startups because they're like we mentioned, right? They are the ones who might need this kind of a product more. So the way we are communicating is by focusing on this problem about feedback, right? We could try it out within our own teams, see how there's a difference between between feedback before you use the feed forward product and after you use the product. So that's part of it. So also once the thing is out in the market and we have more people trying out the MVP, it can be a subscription based model, right? If you try it once and it's solving a couple of problems for you when it comes to feedback, it's helping your people grow, then that can validate it more, make it more popular among people. And once sort of we get more stories and the product grows as something in the market, then people know about it more, right? It increases the credibility. I hope that sort of made sense.
Yes, I think that answers my question. Further, any follow-up question? Okay, good. Anyone, if you guys have any other follow-up questions or anything to add, you guys can add before we move on to other team speech in another minute.
Can you just quickly remind me what else marketing channels you had? Like there was email, web portal, and third one, and I forgot which fourth one.
Referral, the web portals, content marketing, emails, and social media.
Okay. Okay.
The more we hype it up, the more feedback we get, and the faster we can work on it. That's the idea.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, I had a question to the marketing campaign, but I forgot it, so I'm stay quiet for now. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. We can always circle back post the next team speech. So hope team Rigor is ready with the pitch. You guys can take over. Thanks, team Feed Forward, Samida, Purnima, and Gaurav.
Pardon, please share the screen.
Yep.
So yep. So hi everyone. So we are Team Riga from Deepwood, and we're here to introduce our project Riga Builder. Please share screen. So we noticed that there's a bigger problem in corporations, in people's work, that people do work just to do work, basically. They just complete the task without giving a second thought of why exactly they're doing it, or without seeing the bigger picture. So, and that leads to going off a tangent and preventing people from reaching their max productivity. Yep, please. Next screen. So our product is focusing on basically our product idea of our product is teaching people to ask questions, to understand reason behind everything, because we believe that by understanding reason behind everything, they will be able to see a bigger picture of their work and not going into problems that I described before. Yep. Shrija, please go ahead.
Thank you, Lisa. So our core features is a threefold structure. First, they will put in the statement, then they'll reason it. And if they can't, they'll rigor it. Rigor is basically reasoning the reason so that they get a bigger picture of it. So our strategies for scaling up include conducting drills and workshops so that we can introduce our product to them. And we gamify the process by introducing the leaderboard so that there's a healthy competition between the employees. Our early adopters are our community. Further to take over from.
Yes, and our business portal would be B2B. So our first of our clients would, our first clients would be DT's clan companies, and we're also thinking of inviting CXOs of those clan companies or also outside companies, and we will also partner with educational organizations because this rigor is also important in education and stuff. And our marketing strategy to sell the MVP would be two things: events and social media platforms. The events would be with the Riga champions, the people who have used the Riga Builder more. And in the social media platform, we will also talk about him and also his experience. How is it changing stuff? So get better, use Riga Builder.
Great. Thank you so much, Team Rigor. Moving forward with the questions, team feed forward.
Yeah, I'd like to just ask a quick clarification question before I move on to the actual one. And just for people who are watching, right? When we say DT, we mean Deep Thought, which is the company that we're working in. Also, could Team Rigor maybe quickly clarify what exactly you mean by rigor here so that people have a better idea of what exactly you're achieving?
Basically, like Srija mentioned it, the idea is that first of all, you give us a reason to a statement, right? But sometimes giving a reason to a statement isn't enough because you've got your reason, but you still have question to this reason. So rigor is basically when you ask a question to this reason, like why this reason, and you answer for that. So it's basically reason behind reason because everything is not one layered. So by going in depth, you get a better understanding.
Can you
Does
share
it make
it
sense?
Example?
Okay.
Team Rigor, it's an open
okay.
question.
Yeah. Give me one moment. I will try to come up with.
Yeah, sure.
Other members can also try in the meantime.
Okay. For example, let's say there was a statement. Let's say the statement: "You should brush your teeth." You can answer this question by "You should brush your teeth to prevent caries." How does it call caries? I think. Cavities. Thank you very much. Cavities. So so to prevent cavities will be a reason. But sometimes you have a question, like for example, why should you avoid cavities? You don't understand why exactly it's bad. So regarding this question will be like a scientific explanation of what exactly cavities do and why is it bad. So that will be a rigor. I'm not able to give details because I actually don't know, but you get the idea.
Thank you.
I'll elaborate on Lisa's example. So if
Sure.
you don't know what cavities is and why it's bad, then how would you be able to avoid it? So that's why rigor is important. Through rigor, you understand why cavities are bad.
And
you get the bigger picture.
And as Srija mentioned, how would you avoid it? Brushing teeth is one option, but there are also other ways to avoid it. So by getting rigor, why is it bad? You will be able to come up with any more ideas because one method is usually not enough. So yeah, basically you come up with a better understanding of why to do something, and you will be able to plan strategy based on this rigor. Does it make sense?
Okay, yeah, great. Thank you so much, team. I think we just got an idea that rigor basically helps us in terms of getting a clarity and also opening us to multiple solutions once we have reasoned it pretty well. Yeah, thank you, team. Yes, Samita.
Right. So my question was, what exactly is the outcome you see this product achieving?
So the outcome we are seeing is the people who will use it, they will have more clarity and they will have a broader perspective of the thing, and they will have actually more questions in a sense.
Okay. So how are you connecting? Okay. You said they'll have better clarity, right? How are you connecting this to improving in their organizations, or how are you getting the business angle there?
Okay. So the thing is, if I have clarity, if I know why am I doing what am I doing, so I will be more motivated, more interested on a thing. So suppose I am a developer, I don't have any interest in developing anything, but I got a task. So I can finish the task, but it will take more time. But suppose I have the clarity, I have the motivation that I am a developer, this is my product, I will work on it. So I'll have the motivation automatically from inside, and it will also take shorter time, and yeah, the quality will also be good.
Okay, makes sense. Any other follow-ups? Team feed forward.
Again,
Not a follow-up, a different question. So if there is a follow-up, you can go ahead.
It's not a follow-up, just one point I wanted to add. In one place you guys mentioned that you will be scaling up with the help of community. Just to clear it off, is that deep thought community?
Yes, that was early adopters. Yes, deep thought community.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks. Purnima, please go ahead.
Okay, my question is that why do I have to use your product to practice rigor? I can do it by myself because what you're providing is just the structure. And when it's out there, anybody can do it without the product.
Yes, actually, yes, that's one point. Like we are providing the structure, but the thing is, I mean, yeah, and I mean, we have more other things. Suppose this rigor builder have a limited character count. You can only write 200 characters of reason, 200 characters of rigor. So it's limiting you so that you don't go on tangents, right? I mean, this thing you can also do it in your computer also, but we are limiting this thing, and also we have the community aspect. So you can see how others are reasoning, what others are reasoning, and people can see yours also. So in both way, you guys are learning. I mean, you're also learning. They are also learning.
Does that answer the question, Purnima?
Sorry, just to clarify,
Yes.
right? Just to clarify, the fact
Yes,
that you
Samita.
can use it, the fact that you can use it in a community, and the fact that there is a word count that stops you from going off on tangents. That's the reason why people would prefer your product over just trying rigor by themselves.
And there's one more additional thing, like people don't like inventing that's something that was already invented. Like what I mean, like for example, if you're a programmer, you most likely will use pre-existing library, then create the same library by yourself because it takes more time. When we are providing a compatible structure, it's already a plus because why do it yourself when you can use something that's already existed? Make sense? Like
we might want to use it by ourselves because it's cheaper, right?
yeah, but
I would add on to that. One of our major points include community. Peer learning is humans are social creatures. Peer learning is important. So when one employee sees the other people of his or her team doing rigor building, they'll be enthusiastic about doing it themselves because no one wants to be left behind. One of them do it and they speak about it. They discuss in the teams, and slowly more of them start rigor building, and that way it spreads.
Okay, thanks, Shrija. Yes, Amita.
Okay. So I have a different question. Like
Hope that
whenever
question is clear. Sorry, Gaurav. I hope that question is cleared up. So they mentioned why their product, it also provides the community aspect, connecting with peers, learning from them, learning from their rigors. I hope that clears that
and
thread.
one more note that we mentioned, but I kind of forget. We mentioned having a gamification element. Like we mentioned that we have leaderboards, and also it's a fact because not only people, like it's also a community element. Just want to talk about a bit because people are usually they like to have like they want to prove that they can do something better, something like more, and this like competitive spirit is also a part can be also a reason why not to use other element because like people can see this leaderboard and they want to improve automatically. If you want to implement it by yourself, it can take much more time. Just this element fact, leaderboard fact. Yeah, it's just like addition to the community factor.
Okay, any questions to that? Team
okay,
feedback.
so as you mentioned leaderboards and these things, right? My question is like, how are you how is your product going to like record all this data, like rigors? What kind of data will be collected? How will it be, what will be collected, where it will be collected?
We will only collect your statement, reason, rigor, and when did you publish? That's
The text, right? Like where?
Yes, yeah. In a database.
Okay. So will you be integrating this database on the company's system itself?
Not really. Maybe. I didn't get your question.
Like, so you,
Yeah, Gaurav.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to clear. I think the part wherein integrating the rigor builder basically connects with what Lisa mentioned. You will be having the leaderboard, right? So how can you make sure the leaderboard rigor is connected to the company's system? Is that
Yes, yes, yes. Like they are
Okay.
using this, they have their own
Mhm.
systems and tools, right? How would you integrate? Like,
Okay. So this rigor builder is like a, it's like a, I mean, independent entity. So you can integrate with it with other platforms also, or you can use our platform on it. It's up to you.
okay. All right. So like, do you provide any kind of customization options for that? Like personalization, or like it's a standard process?
This is standard. We might provide some in future.
Okay. Okay. Any question? Any follow-up questions on that part?
Yeah, so you mentioned about the data getting connected to the company, right? So if you are like the executive or whoever is like managing the finances of the organization or something, how are they going to see the connection between this data and improvement in the employees?
One of the factors
Improvement.
that, yeah, go ahead,
Yes.
Ferdinand.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. If you.
No, I had a
insist on it.
question. Like I didn't get the improvement part.
Like how exactly our product is working for improvement. Like what how they will see that exactly our product helped improve their organization. Do I understand correctly? So,
That's your outcome, right? The employees are improving and contributing more in the organization. So how are you showing it through the data?
Actually, like I'm not sure about through the data. Ferdinand can think of but we have one of our ideas that we have is having events where we take people and take basically testimonials of people, how exactly feature helped them. This is one thing. Let me think of others, but this is one thing. Any for the team? Any additions?
So the thing is, you can see the improvement in people on, like, suppose you are a rigor champion, so you will see the improvement in yourself, and all the other people can see that, yeah, you're improving. This guy is improving. This guy is asking questions. He has more clarity over
But
some things.
that doesn't make sense for the organization's perspective, right?
yeah?
Sorry.
How exactly
Okay.
organization?
The feedback from peers can be a little more subjective, but how can it be more, result oriented? How we can actually quantify the results that, okay, there is improvement in terms of.
Okay, got it. Okay, so in the MVP stage, we are not thinking of the quality of reasons or stuffs, but I mean, in the MVP stage, we're just trying to, I mean, increase the users of this rigor builder. So the
If I
quality
may,
aspects will, yeah.
But
go ahead.
if the only, sorry, can I ask?
yes, Samita, you were saying?
Yeah, if the purpose is to increase the usage, wouldn't you still want to solve that problem and want the organization to see its importance? Like if you're only increasing the user base within the community and getting people to try out, like, oh, okay, reasoning works out for me. But if the organization is not seeing the significance of it, how is that going to work out as a B2B product?
Exactly. How can you communicate that bigger vision in terms of a large scale?
Please
But
let me know if. Please
Sorry.
let me know.
Yes, Lisa.
Yeah, okay. Please let me know if idea isn't working, but what idea I have in mind, the organization can basically, we can try to show the correlation in data. Basically, we can show that this person was a master on improvement, and you can see that you have these results of this person. Like if companies tracking performances of the people, they can just see that this person has improvement like some kind of statistics to show
Yeah,
that
what kind of results are you connecting to this improvement in rigor?
Okay,
Yeah,
so
just like
our,
Sridhar. Yes.
yes, I was going to answer this question. The main purpose of rigor builder is so that the reasoning capability of the employees increase, so that they ask questions, they get a better understanding of why they are doing what they're doing. And when they use rigor builder, they'll be able to reason what they are doing. It's not just about the leaderboard or just about who's coming up first. They apply this to their daily assignments, and they can reason why they're doing what they're doing. And as first been mentioned earlier, they they improve the quality and the quantity of the assignments. That way, the CXO, CEOs, or whoever is monitoring, they can see the difference before using rigor builder and after using rigor builder, because the quality, both the quality and the quantity will increase and become better.
Okay, so you're saying that, when the employees are questioning more, that will, get them more clarity, and then they'll improve the quality of their products, or like quality of whatever they're working on, right?
Yeah.
So questioning leads to improvement in your projects. That's the assumption,
Questioning
right?
leads to more understanding. More understanding leads to betterment of the assignments.
Okay, makes sense. You also mentioned that in the MVP, you're not going to look at the quality, you're just trying to increase your user base. So how does that fit in?
That's just the first phase, because since it's an MVP, we need a user base to build more on it and get.
So your
user
only
feedback.
purpose in the MVP is to build the user base, and you're not actually, you can't actually improve the quality of the rigor because it's an MVP, right? The improving quality part hasn't come in yet.
As our users base increases, we'll be getting more and more feedbacks on how we can improve or how we can customize our product. And that way we'll slowly build upon it.
Okay. Okay. What I'm trying to say, if the quality of questioning is not there, and it's not directly like you're not yet able to connect the quality of questioning to results in the organization.
Okay, so about the quality of questioning, as we mentioned, we would be conducting drills and worksheets and workshops, so that we can show them the type of questions they need to ask to get a better understanding. Anyone can ask useless questions, that won't help them. So our drills and workshop will help them understand what kind of questions they need to ask and what kind of mindset they need to create to become better.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Just one follow-up question here. So, will that mean that you will be providing your product as a trial basis, no subscription or like no charges in the beginning, so that they use the product, they can actually see the results, and then you can move forward with the subscription model or whatever the plan would be?
Yeah, for our community and our client companies, we are providing it free, and after that we might think of subscription.
Okay, but again, coming to that result part. So, is there any plan as of now that how you guys can collect that data and convert into a proper output or a result, so that you can attract other companies as well?
Yes, we have plan, like when we have enough data, when plan companies also use, then we can have large amount of data. So then that would be convincing. I mean, that would be helpful to convince other companies.
Follow up on that.
Yeah, got it.
Like you'll be collecting data, right? And like, how would you ensure that the data is collected and secure? Like you're going to show one company's data to another company, right? So how would you ensure that like the company that you're using the data from would be okay with that?
Uh, I don't think it would be an issue. Like I mean, it's not personal data, right? It's like you got a
Still
statement.
but still there are like data from the projects, right? That's being done. It's like a very
Might be.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's
So okay, we can have some kind of like, okay, companies can request us not to share the data, or they can have their own instance of our product, so that the data stays in their database only.
okay
We're
for
just
that.
providing the product.
So for that you'd have to apply like testing or validation kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
So how would you integrate with the MVP?
Sorry, sir, can you repeat?
Like you have to like come up with testing and validation process for those data, right? Within your MVP itself.
What do you mean by testing and validating data?
So you are trying to separate the data which can be used by the companies, like which company says that you can use it, and some can be confidential data, right? You're trying to separate it.
So suppose one company doesn't want to share their data. So what can they do? Like they will use their instance of our product and their separate database. So their data will be in their database only and
Okay.
their own leaderboard, right?
Okay. All right. So you'll be creating two separate databases, like.
Not really. Like I'm just providing the service, right? You can say it's a service, or they can take the instance, their own instance.
Okay. Yeah, but I got the answer. Thank you for that.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes. I had, yeah, Purnima, go ahead.
Purnima.
Okay, so in your pitch, you guys mentioned that you will be targeting education organizations as well. Question number one is why, and question number two is how.
Okay. So first question, why? So the thing is, we just study. Like we don't. I mean, there are two things. Like first thing is, why are we studying? Where are we even studying a subject or for an exam? Right? We need the clarity so that we get the motivation. Like we are just going after coachings and stuff. We're not just getting the things. And second thing is like the things we're studying, we are not getting the essence of it. Like we're not going deep into it. But with the users of this studio builder, you can actually get the reason behind this thing and also go deeper into any topic.
I
Right.
want to add on the why part as well, may I? So
Sure.
the thing is, like, you know how Deepwater is targeting to change the situation on the world, right? So this is part of it, because in educational system, we are not taught to ask why. Usually, like, I don't know, like, maybe it's different in your place, but from what I've heard, not really. But sometimes I felt afraid to ask teachers questions, because I was each time that I was asked, sometimes when I would ask questions, I would get response like, "Are you stupid?" and something like this. So we want to target people who think that why, explaining why is also important, and to help them provide this change in the situation in the educational system. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Like, this is in addition to what Ferdinand, please proceed.
Yeah. And your second question, how? So the thing is, there are still some people that wants to change the education system, that wants to change the world, but they don't have the resource. So they are just going with the flow, right? So we can target those audience, like those teachers or principals, whatever. So hopefully they will get our idea what we are doing, and they will adapt the same system in their institutes.
Okay, hope that answers the question. Team feed forward. Yes, Samita.
Just quick question. What are the costs involved with your product?
Sorry, can you?
What are the costs involved with your product?
Okay, like for ourselves and for our, I mean, for DT communities and DT client communities, we're not charging anything. But when we are going, I mean, to other companies, there might be some charge. Like,
Okay, so you guys haven't decided on the cost aspect yet. Okay. So in that case, what is going to be the profile of your target audience once you actually start selling?
I didn't get the profile. Like profile.
As in
Profile as-
target, from what background they'll be coming. one, I
What are
guess
the needs that you're, yeah.
the needs and the background.
Yeah. Like we are B2B. We are thinking of like going B2B. So we will target mainly businesses. It could be startups, corporate, big corporate, anything.
Okay.
Okay, but what need are you meeting for them?
What need am I meeting? Okay, so see, every year $8 trillion are lost because people are not aligned to their cause because they are not productive enough. Okay. So to reduce the to increase the productivity, to reduce the waste, we will be helpful.
Okay.
How?
Yeah.
Okay, so this $8 trillion are getting wasted because people are not aligned to the cause. They are not productive, so they are not. One way of not productive is that you are not aligned, right? So when we are, with Trigger Builder, you can have the clarity of your work, why you are doing what you are doing. So with this thing, you will have the clarity and you will automatically have the motivation.
Okay, so for the B2B, it's like you get clarity about what the business can showcase to their employees how they're fitting into the organization or what exactly the role is. So why would they prefer your product instead of just like explaining the role or how they fit into the organization by themselves?
Yeah, that didn't work before. So like if you explain someone that you are this, you are that, you have to do this, that, it doesn't work that way. It has to come from inside you. If you if you realize that I'm valuable, I can do better, then you can do better actually. Like if you got it.
Okay. I think you got one marketing strategy over there regarding the billions of dollars being wasted. So with that strategy, as just a follow-up question to Samita, how can you make sure that the people want to use the product instead of, relying on their own systems or the companies coming up with their systems? How are you going to make your product, that customer can, actually feel to use the product?
Okay, so first thing is, like, people usually want to learn more about this topic, about anything, any topic. So when we use Review Builder, you will go deeper into any topic. Okay, so like we can take any simple example, like what sky is blue. Well, this is a statement: the sky is blue. So you can go into reason: the sky is blue because blah blah blah, and you can go into deeper into that also, that why that blah 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 is there, and you can go deeper and deeper. So that is a fun thing, like when you explore more and more items. And the second thing is, we will gamify this process. So as we are having that leaderboard kind of thing, so people will be and also will have some kind of scoring thing that will be added in their performance. So this way they will.
Got it. Cool. Thank you. Any other questions? Any follow-up questions from Team Feed Forward?
Okay, on a different thread, like, okay, once you have found your customers, right? Like, can you come back to like what channels will you be using to promote your MVP?
Okay, the channels that they mentioned was events, social media.
Yes.
So, okay, like how would you be attracting your potential customers to those events?
Okay.
Sorry, I had can I ask another question? It was related to the previous thread, and it's also kind of related to
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Yes.
The thing was like, what exactly are you communicating through your product, right? So you mentioned a little bit about people who want to reason more and ask the whys, but you also mentioned that you're targeting B2B, where people are able to see how they're aligning with the organization more. So what exactly is the message that you're putting out there, and which kind of audience is it resonating with?
Okay, Samita, the question I think is again little same. Do you want a specific, like what is that exact specific thing that you're asking? Because I think in terms of answers, they mentioned the the money aspect, the finance aspect of the companies. That's why that is the major cause in terms of B2B. And then again, their reasons. So yeah, anything
No,
specific?
I'm still I'm asking for the specification because I'm a little confused, right? Somewhat the messages are for individuals who want to learn more. Somewhat the messages are for B2B companies about like how a person can grow more in the organization. But also the users are going to be a community of reasoners. So who exactly is the message going to be aimed at?
So as an MVP product, what will be the first target audience? Is that what you mean, Samita?
Yeah, right. Like what is the product
Message.
conveying in terms of messaging? Yeah.
Okay. In MVP space, we are targeting DT communities and DT clan communities. I mean, clan companies.
So what is the message that, okay, suppose I'm a DT person, so and I'm going to be using your product, or I'm the business, entire DT business CEO or something. So how are you going to, present your product to me?
Again, Samita, just going back to their previous explanation in the first question. So rigor builder, explaining rigor builder, what is rigor builder, and then connecting it with their project, with their problem statement. They have mentioned it already. So does that
Okay.
answer? Explaining
that's more of the philosophy behind it, right? It's not exactly explaining that individual's problem getting solved, like how is that business's problem getting solved.
Right,
so
yeah.
like what is the exact message you're giving there? Okay. I think one way you can frame it is like, if I'm the CEO and you come to me, my question is going to be, okay, what's in it for me? So how will you explain what's in it for me?
Your productivity is getting lost, your money is getting lost. Don't waste the money.
I think
Okay,
we are
very
kind of getting the same circle of answers and questions, and we are also out of time. So great. I think this was an amazing discussion. Now we'll go for a quick reflection time. Everyone, who would like to go first?
Okay, I can go first. So
thank you.
I really enjoyed the questioning, and also because Rigor Builder is our actual product, so it was interesting to get into depth about that. Okay, some of the like major findings, like, or key principles that were discussed, right, those were important for me. When we talked about how exactly we're going to send the message, or who are the stakeholders involved, how much of finance is involved in MVP, how much you have to differentiate your product, even if it's an MVP. All those things were, like, I think, pretty important, but we don't really think about it when we're initially developing a product, right? So getting that business angle instead of just a developer angle, or just like staying in the instead of staying in the ideation phase, go like making it more practical based on how you're going to apply it once it goes out into the corporate world. Those were some interesting perspectives. So thank you for that dialogue, guys.
Thank you. So I'll go next. So when I originally heard of MVP, I kind of thought that the whole idea is to focus on the features that you're creating, but it was surprising to find out, to understand that actually no, it's not only that. It's not only about what you're able to do as a developer, for example, or it's about everything, possibly. Okay, it's about it's the whole complex, the whole process of existing of a product pressed into one little small, like in a small amount, but still, you need to think of each point of the journey to make sure that everything goes well, because like only product won't make it. So this was interesting perspective, and we also had a lot of interesting questions from the team feed forward. So thank you very much for that. That was an interesting experience.
Thank you, Lisa. Anybody else would like to go next? Yes, Shrija. You're not audible, Shrija.
I would like to go next.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
audible.
Yes, you are not.
So this SG was a really great experience for me. The questions were really good. The point that Lisa said that we thought that only MVP would be going through all your features, but the whole area surrounding an MVP we were not about sure. But through the question we are getting more clear. This was really great SG for me.
Thanks, Shrija.
I can go next.
Yes, got it.
So yeah, from this experience, like I understood that, yeah, I got so many ideas, right? Like whenever whenever we're coming up with new product, this I never had an actual understanding of MVP, but when I went through it, like it became so evident that we can figure out the inconsistencies that can come in future in our early initial phases, and like it's iterative process, like it's so important, right? Like, and like we may have like thought about a different product initially, but once we get the feedback, once we talk with the user, once we empathize with them, our product can change into something different from what we expected, like so many potentials, right? So yeah, this is all about handling how we go through all those feedbacks and how feedbacks are important, right? So yeah, it was a really good experience, and I got to learn a lot of things. Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you, Gaurav. Fardeen, yes,
Okay,
Purna.
okay,
Yes.
yeah, I'll go next. So, if I can mention an insight that I got right during the discussion, during the dialogue, I think got reminded of, again of the one of the fundamental principles that how your MVP, evolves with your early adopters, right? For example, in case of rigor builder, at first they are only focusing on having those reasons, people reasoning as much as they can. They give it to the early adopters, people use it, and then they figure out, right, how to actually measure the quality of those reasons. So again, how just at least first focusing on one problem statement, releasing the MVP, and how seeing it evolve with the early adopters was something that I was reminded of during the dialogue. So yeah, that was good.
Thank you, Purnima. Fardeen, any pointers?
Yeah. I mean, this whole detail, I mean, SD experience was like mind blowing actually. Like I always thought MVP was like basically create a product, just push it, that's it. But now I understand like no, it's not like that. You have to find your customers, how will you market it, and lots of stuff. Yeah, like and I mean, as a developer, it's quite important for us to look into these aspects also, like who will be using it. So
Okay. Thank you so much, Fardeen. So just a final reflection from my end. What I got to realize is MVP is more than just creating a minimum viable product and just focusing on a problem statement. It is also about challenging the problem statement, observing the problem statement initially, analyzing and understanding that problem statement, what is the core problem, and then understanding the target customers requirement, just bringing the design thinking angle towards building the MVP. I guess that helps everything, just sort out all the structures. That is the problem statement, the target customers, and eventually, the execution of product. So thank you so much, everyone. This was a great SD. See you. Bye.